This video is sponsored by Insta360.
This is the new Insta360 Ace Pro 2, rocking an 8K sensor. It got 2 AI chips, which is going to improve, the efficiency, everything about the camera. It has a co-engineered lens with Leica, with a wider field of view than before. This one has a 157-degree field of view, so it's super wide. In 4K, you get up to 120 frames per second. In 4K 60, this is when you have access to things like active HDR. Finally, we can shoot in log on an Insta Ace Pro camera. It has a new and improved flip screen. This is a 2.5-inch screen. It has a removable windscreen here that is going to improve the internal audio.
And probably my favorite thing about this camera so far, the improved low light mode. It's called Pure Video. Now I'm switching over to the Ace Pro 2 so you can see what it looks like, what it sounds like. I'm in vlogging mode right now, backlit, and I have face priority on, so I should be properly exposed. I'm shooting in 4K 30 log with the internal audio. This is what it sounds like straight out of camera. It's a fairly windy day, so how is it handling that wind? So the Ace Pro 2 has a brand new 8K 1/1.3 sensor. Okay, it can shoot up to 8K 30 this time. The Ace Pro 1 could shoot 8K 24, this one could shoot 8K 30. And at room temperature, I got that thing up to around 50 minutes until it overheated. When you do shoot 8K, you are gonna have some limitations. You still get access to active HDR, but you're not gonna be able to access the ultra wide camera, and you're not gonna have things like high stabilization. You're gonna be stuck with the standard, which is still good. But for like my car, for example, my car slammed. I have airbags on my car, and Chicago streets are terrible. So if that stabilization can make the car shots look smooth, then I'm just kudos to the stabilization on here. When shooting 4K 60 and under on this camera, this is when you have access to all the features, all the lenses, active HDR, you can shoot log, you have access to everything. And you also get this 4K clarity zoom, which it punches in 2 times, and it's making use of that 8K sensor. One of the negatives of using an action camera is that there isn't a zoom lens on there. And this kind of, it pixel bends, but it still looks good. And I think that's a unique feature on this camera specifically. So I never used the first Ace Pro, but I can tell you right now that the low light mode has to be the standout feature out of everything. Watch, I'm gonna switch to it right now. Now this is Pure Video. And I know action cameras were never meant to be good in low light, but this is insane. Like there's some AI noise reduction magic going on. I know the skin tones don't look necessarily amazing, but look at the amount of detail, shadow recovery. Now just look at this clip that I shot at night of the train passing by. It was around midnight and it was really dark out there. Now if I want to get technical, I can totally find some flaws and weird things and artifacts that happen when you use Pure Video. Like the one that stood out to me was the one that what would happen when I would shoot certain LED light sources on the street. But at the end of the day, this is a tiny sensor in a tiny camera, and I think that it's incredible to get any kind of usable video at night with an action camera. So the lens on the Ace Pro 2 was co-engineered with Leica. It has a super wide field of view of 157 degrees, or roughly around a 13mm equivalent on full frame. You can choose up to 5 different focal lengths. So there's action, which is the ultra wide, which is gonna be great for POV shots. Then there's mega view, it's gonna heavily reduce the amount of distortion on your wide angle shot. Then there's ultra wide, dewarp, and linear. If you are shooting in 4K 30, you get access to the 45-degree horizon lock mode, which is going to crop in a little bit tighter, but it's going to assure you that your horizons are going to be straight if you move the camera at up to a 45-degree angle. And then they also get 360 horizon lock, which is amazing to have, but it is going to crop in a really good amount. On the Ace Pro 2, you get up to 12 different modes that you can choose from. And on the top right, it has some preset settings so that you don't have to fiddle with the settings. It already has some presets here for whatever sport or activity that you're doing. The screen has also been improved. This is now a 2.5-inch screen. I find it to be very responsive.
It is brighter and sharper than the previous version, and I found I had no issues being able to see this screen on a bright sunny day. Now, the first time I seen a flip screen on an action camera, I didn't think too much of it. I thought it was kind of gimmicky, but it's actually not. Like when you're shooting from a low angle, this is nice, or just any kind of creative angle. It's nice to be able to see the entire frame and be able to change the settings on that screen without having to get behind the unit.
Now, what about the in-camera audio? I think it actually sounds pretty decent, especially when I was walking through that open field with a decent amount of wind. My voice sounded crystal clear. I normally wouldn't leave that situation using a camera without a wind screen. I feel like I would have unusable audio.
Now, if you wanted to level up your audio, you could always attach a DJI or Rode wireless mic directly to the USB-C port, or you can use the Insta360 USB-C mic adapter. The Ace Pro 2 has by far the best battery life that I've experienced personally with an action camera. Now, when shooting 8K video, like I showed you in the beginning, the camera actually overheated before the battery died. But in a less demanding mode, maybe a little bit less heat, I can see it easily going past an hour in a continuous recording. There's also a new endurance mode that will give you around a 50% longer runtime according to Insta360. It also supports fast charging, so you can get up to 80% in 18 minutes. This camera is waterproof up to 39 feet. It now features extended pre-recording, up to 90 seconds this time. On the photo side, this thing can shoot 50 megapixel photos, and what's really cool is that it now features new Leica color profiles built in so that you can use these as a preset for both photo and video. You can use both voice control and gesture control to wirelessly control the camera. And when I was mounting the camera all around inside of my car, I was using my voice to stop recording. Start recording. And when I mounted the camera outside of my car, I was using the app, which is extremely responsive. I wasn't having any issues with starting, stopping, changing the frame rate and the mode. I could do it all from the app inside of the car. And speaking of the app, this is what makes the Insta360 unique from the others, and that's specifically the AI editing. It is so convenient to just select your favorite clips in the app after you're done shooting, and the AI will make a little highlight reel for you so that you can instantly share with your friends and family right away. So my time with the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, I can say that I was most impressed with the low light video quality, the 4K active HDR footage, and how good the footage looks, the quality of the Leica lens, and just how easy this camera is to use. Thinking back, like 10 years when action cameras were tiny and now they got damn near 1-inch sensors in them, these things are slowly becoming much more than something you just slap onto your helmet, if you know what I'm saying.